Washington's decision to lift restrictions on Ukraine's ATACMS missile strikes on Russia has caused a stir among Kremlin propagandists. Gazprom Media Deputy General Director and ardent Putinist Tina Kandelaki is threatening to strike Cyprus and the UAE. The propagandist made a bold statement on her Telegram channel. Kandelaki threatens to strike at US, UK and French bases in Cyprus and the UAE. At the same time, according to her version, it will not be Russia that will take revenge on the West for ATACMS, but militants from Syria and Lebanon. The various armed groups in these countries could very well have their missiles go astray and strike by accident. The US and other NATO countries have many military bases around the world located near hotspots where long-range and high-precision weapons could suddenly appear. This is exactly what Putin warned about back in June. Didn't you listen? It's your own fault, the propagandist wrote. It is significant that Kandelaki threatens to take revenge on the sly and with the help of others. Apparently, even she realizes Russia's inability to confront the West openly in direct conflict. If Cyprus initially sided with Ukraine in the current war, the UAE tried to maintain neutrality. This country became a mediator between Kiev and Moscow in the issue of exchanging prisoners of war. The Emirates are very loyal to the Russians. In the last 3 years that the Russian Federation has been waging war, many Russian citizens, including high-ranking ones, have freely flown there for vacations and acquired real estate there. Kremlin propagandists thanked the friendly state with threats. Recall the largest US base in the Middle East is located in Qatar. Al-Udeid Air Base was built in 1996. Other countries where the US has a presence include Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The US has troops in the Middle East for different reasons, and with the exception of Syria, they are there with the permission of each country's government. In some countries like Iraq and Syria, the troops are there to fight against Islamic State, Daesh, and are also advising the local armed forces. However, they have come under attack from Iran-backed forces over the past few years and have taken military action against them.
SpaceX on Tuesday launched another Starship rocket, but passed up catching the booster with giant mechanical arms. Unlike last month's success, the booster was directed to a splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico. The catch was called off just 4 minutes into the test flight from Texas for unspecified reasons, and the booster hit the water 3 minutes later. Not all of the criteria for a booster catch was met, and so the flight director did not command the booster to return to launch site, said SpaceX spokesman Dan Hewitt. He did not specifying what went wrong. At the same time, the empty spacecraft launched from Texas atop Starship soared across the Gulf of Mexico on a near loop around the world similar to October's test flight. Skimming space, the shiny retro-looking craft targeted the Indian Ocean for a controlled but destructive end to the hour-long demo. It was the latest test for the world's biggest and most powerful rocket that SpaceX and NASA hope to use to get astronauts back on the Moon and eventually Mars. SpaceX kept the same flight path as last time, but changed some steps along the way as well as the time of day. Starship blasted off in late afternoon instead of early morning to ensure daylight halfway around the world for observing the spacecraft's descent. Among the new objectives, igniting one of the spacecraft's engines in space, which would be necessary when returning from orbit. There were also thermal protection experiments aboard the spacecraft, with some areas stripped of heat tiles to see whether catch mechanisms might work there on future flights. Even more upgrades are planned for the next test flight. Donald Trump flew in for the launch in the latest sign of a deepening bond between the president-elect and Elon Musk, SpaceX's founder and CEO. SpaceX wants to eventually return and reuse the entire 400-foot Starship. Full-scale recycling would drive down the cost of hauling cargo and people to the Moon and Mars, while speeding things up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Booster Raptor, chamber pressure nominal.
Avionics power and telemetry nominal.
Telemetry nominal, that's flying straight and true. We do see all 33 Raptor engines lit up on telemetry screens. And we heard the tower is go for catch.
Booster range cutoff.
The return flag is set for true.
Ship engine start up. Stage separation.
All right, hot staging confirmed. You heard that we are go for catch. Kate, Jesse, take good the views. Hopefully I got a booster coming home real soon.
Well as the operators on console have been actively evaluating the commit criteria for that return to the watchtower, and unfortunately we did not have a pass on those commit criteria, so we are no-go for tower catch. And we exactly, so views there of the booster on the left-hand side of your screen, views of the ship on the right-hand side of your screen. Super heavy booster. So we have seen this before, and it is still very fun to watch, watching it come down for a soft splashdown off the Gulf Coast of Texas. You can see it there re-entering. We saw earlier those grid fins. There are 4 hypersonic grid fins. Oh, we can see that the landing burn has begun on the super heavy booster.
Same pattern, 13 engines go light. Gone down to 3, just as we expected. And what an incredible view of splashdown that we got today. Oh, super heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure the buoy cam.
Engines relighting.
What a great reorientation by Starship.
Wow.
All 3 down to 2 into the water.